Hello everybody and welcome to the highlight video of Game 10 of the World Chess Championship, Magnus Carlsen against Karjakin, and we're getting to the finish line. Only 3 games left. The challenger Karjakin leading with 1 point because he won game 8, and the question is, can Magnus Carlsen come back into this match? He only has 2 games with the white pieces left, and well, the question was, could he use one of them to get back into the match? And we shall find out in a moment. This is the highlight video. If you would like to see the full analysis, please click on the link in the description where I cover the whole game. Here I focus on the main moments of the game. So let's begin. Carlsen with the white pieces starting, and he played the Royal Opus. We saw a Berlin variation, and Carlsen had a good preparation and got his typical position here. In this moment he had just taken the bishop on e6. Black took back of the f pawn, opening the f file, and Carlsen, with the knight being under attack, moved it back, and this was one key moment in this game. Here Karjakin took about 45 seconds, if I can trust the times, and played d5, so he didn't take a lot of time here. He had probably already planned this move in advance and then just executed. But he could have forced a draw right away with knight takes f2. Giving a check, well, obviously white cannot take, black just takes back, so the king has to move. And the key point is here that after king g2, which first looks like winning a piece, here black has this trick, this nice move, knight h4 check. And why does this work? If white takes, there's queen g6 check, the king doesn't have any squares. If not made though, white has to play knight g4, but here, without question, black is better being a pawn up. So in fact, after knight h4 check, instead of taking, white needs to go king g1, and here we have this draw that I was talking about. Black repeats moves, and that's a draw. If you take now, then this queen takes f2, and in the end, this knight is hanging on d2. In the press conference, Karjakin apparently said he wasn't sure about this move, king g1. But here black just plays knight h3 as well. When king h1, this is just a repetition right away. And after king g2, this time black has another knight jump. Not knight h4, but knight f4. G takes, knight takes f4, fork, so white has to give the rook. And we come to this position in which black has a rook and 2 pawns for the 2 knights of white. And here, if anybody's better, it's black. So it is confusing and surprising to me that Karjakin evaluated the position as not that clear. I think he just believed his opponent when Carlsen played this very quickly, and Carlsen had missed it completely and said if that was to happen, then he would have just, the game was over and it would have been a draw. He believed his opponent too much and didn't go for this, and that would have been an easy draw with the black pieces here. Instead he went d5, and the game obviously continued, and we actually entered an endgame here in this position. And we will fast forward quite a bit. So both players improved their piece position. This endgame is better for white because black has this weakness here, the double pawns in the e-file, and also, well, some other square weaknesses, the square on g5, for example. Just in time when the knight is landing here, I'm saying this. So this is exactly one of those positions in which Carlsen can press and try, and which he has similar positions he has won so many times in the past. Now the double pawn was exchanged, but white is gaining some space here, and we're coming to this critical moment. Here, Carlsen played rook f3, having the idea of entering on f6, but black could have ignored this for now, and could have just gone a c5. Because white has another idea, which actually Carlsen played the next move, to go b4 and win some space on the queen side. And black should play c5 to stop that. And if knight b3, just b6. Probably what Karjakin didn't like was if white goes knight b5 and always has this idea to put the knight on d6, but really the knight can just stay on f7, or also, well, yeah, just stay with the knight on f7, cover a square, and of course this knight looks unpleasant, but it is definitely much better to do it like this than to allow white to gain more space on the queen side. Also, there was another possibility here, the move g5 is also very interesting. But in the game after knight h6, now we see this happening actually here b4, and white has a, well, for black, unpleasant pressure going on. So we'll move through the next move rather quickly, and we'll see a lot of maneuvering. Once again, both players improving their position, and now black is kind of waiting on what white is doing and preventing his plans. And we come to this moment. This was another key moment here. After, for so long, nothing had happened. Karjakin just played rook h7 back. This is where he just came from. And in the press conference, he said he thought Carlsen just wanted to make move 40, but Carlsen had followed or had prepared something here, very devious, and Karjakin didn't take it into account. So after rook h7, the black position is actually lost. Black needs to play another move, for example rook f8. And the difference here is that after b5, c takes b5, rook takes b5, which we'll see in the game, now black can go rook c8, stopping the very strong rook b6, targeting his pawn, because then obviously the knight is hanging on c5. Still, white is better here, but it seems that black should be able to defend. Still, long defensive task ahead. So, as I already pointed out in the game, what happens is that here rook b6 cannot be stopped, because rook c7 obviously would leave this pawn hanging, and black is in a lot of trouble. Karjakin has defended bad positions before in this match, so he, of course, as always, went on to defend and tried to defend. So let's see what happened here. White wins his pawn, black tries to create counterplay, but white keeps everything under control. Knight f4. Rook c7, and now there are different moves available here. Rook takes g6 is also quite possible, but Carlsen played knight d5, which is also good, taking a pair of rooks off the board. And now the point is that after rook takes f3, there's knight b5 check, king b8 and a6 suddenly, and this pawn just wins the game for white. White will take on b7 the next move and then have this super strong pawn on a6. So that's why Karjakin played king b8, knight b5 and king c8 to go out of this a6 threat. Now rook takes g6, rook takes f3, king g2, improving the position of the king, and now knight d6 transposing or transforming into a rook endgame. And this rook endgame is indeed winning for white. Let's see what happened here and white is winning. Rook e3, e6, rook takes king c7, rook takes d4, rook takes e6, rook d5. White is still a pawn up. There are not a lot of pawns left on the board, but enough. The main problem is here that black is too passive and that the rook is so perfectly placed on the 5th rank, both defending his own pawn and attacking the opponent's pawn on h5, which means that the black rook has to stay passive on the h-file. And now Carlsen just brought his king closer and the game was actually over. Already here, after king f6, Karjakin resigned because king g5, king g7 is coming, rook h7 doesn't change anything, and if rook g8, white just plays rook g5, and he will pick up this pawn. And there's no counterplay for black, no chances whatsoever. And that's why Karjakin resigned. And Magnus Carlsen levels the score, wins his first game in the match. Now the score is 5-5. And there are 2 games left. We will see both of them. We will go the full distance, 12 games total. And of course now it's everybody's game again. The match is completely open. And those 2 games, you don't want to miss them, that's for sure. All right, that was my highlight video. If you would like to see the full analysis, like I said, you can find it in the description. And if you would like to be notified for my future analysis, you can subscribe to my channel. All right, I'll see you again in 2 days time when it is time for game 11 on Saturday. Goodbye.